Commander Vex of the Galactic Council stood on his ship's bridge, looking down at the small blue planet called Earth. His 4 eyes showed disgust as he watched the tiny human ships moving slowly around their world. "Look at them," Vex said to his crew. "So weak, so small, they can barely leave their own planet." It was the year 2387. 200 years had passed since aliens first found Earth. Back then, the humans had been so scared. They begged the aliens not to hurt them. They gave the aliens anything they wanted. The Galactic Council controlled everything. They had thousands of worlds under their rule. Powerful alien races like the Korthak Empire and the Zerak Federation worked together to keep smaller species in line. And humans were at the bottom of the list. "Captain," said Lieutenant Zara, pointing at her screen, "the humans are asking for another trade meeting." Vex laughed. It was a cold, mean sound. "What do they want this time? More scraps from our table?" The human ambassador, a small woman named Dr. Sarah Chen, appeared on the main screen. She looked tired. Her clothes were simple and old. Behind her, the Earth space station looked like junk compared to alien technology. "Greetings, Commander Vex," Dr. Chen said politely. "We would like to discuss better trade deals for medical supplies. Our people are getting sick because—" "Stop," Vex said, raising his hand. "You get what we give you, nothing more. Be grateful we don't take everything." Dr. Chen's face showed no anger. She just nodded. "Of course, Commander. Thank you for your kindness." The screen went dark. Vex's crew laughed. "Did you see her face?" said one alien. "So scared and helpless." "Humans are pathetic," said another. "They'll never fight back. They're too weak." But they were wrong. Very, very wrong. Far from Earth, in the dark, empty space between stars, something else was happening. Human ships were moving in the darkness, not the small, weak ships that aliens saw near Earth. These were different ships. Bigger ships. Secret ships. Captain James Harrison stood on the bridge of the human vessel Silent Builder. Around him, his crew worked quietly. They had been traveling for 3 months to reach this place, a dead planet far from any alien patrol routes. "Captain," said his science officer, "we've found the perfect spot. No alien activity for 50 light years. The planet has everything we need." Harrison looked at the dead world on his screen. It was perfect, rocky, empty, hidden. "Begin Operation Silent Thunder," he said quietly. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen met with the real human leaders in a secret underground room. The aliens thought she was just a simple ambassador. They had no idea she was actually Admiral Sarah Chen, the smartest military mind humanity had ever produced. "Report," she said to the man across from her. 67 construction sites are now active, he said. "We've built mining equipment that the aliens have never seen before. Our ships can hollow out entire planets. Each warship will be the size of a moon." Admiral Chen nodded. "How long until completion?" 50 more years, Admiral. Maybe 40 if we push harder." "Good. And the aliens still think we're weak?" "Yes, ma'am." Commander Vex actually laughed at our trade request today. "They have no idea what we're really doing." Admiral Chen smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Perfect. Let them laugh. Let them think we're stupid and scared. While they're busy feeling superior, we're building something that will change everything." Meanwhile, on alien worlds across the galaxy, the same scene played out over and over. Alien leaders sat in their fancy ships and beautiful cities, making jokes about weak humans. They made bets about how long it would take to completely control Earth. They planned to take more and more from humanity until there was nothing left. The Korthak Emperor sat on his throne talking to his generals. "These humans amuse me," he said. "So polite. So grateful for whatever scraps we throw them. They'll make excellent slaves when we're done playing with them." The Zerak Federation held meetings about dividing up human space. "Their planet has good resources," they said. "Once we take it, we can use the humans as workers in our mines." None of them asked the right questions. None of them wondered where all those human mining ships were really going. None of them thought it was strange that humans always said yes to everything, but never seemed to completely give up. If they had been smarter, they might have noticed the signs. Human ships leaving Earth and never coming back. Strange energy readings from empty space. Radio signals that didn't make sense. But the aliens were too busy laughing to pay attention. In the darkness between stars, on 100 different dead worlds, humans worked day and night. They built machines that could crack planets. They created weapons that could destroy entire fleets. They designed ships so large that they needed whole worlds as construction yards. And they did it all in perfect silence. The galaxy slept peacefully, thinking it knew everything about humanity. But humanity had learned to be very, very quiet while building something very, very dangerous. Soon the laughing would stop. Deep in the darkness between stars, something impossible was happening. Captain Maria Santos stood on the bridge of her ship, watching machines the size of cities work on a dead planet below. The planet that had once been solid rock was now hollow. Inside it, humans were building something that would make the galaxy tremble. "Status report," Captain Santos said to her chief engineer. "The Titan-class warship is 60% complete, Captain," he replied. "Hull sections Alpha through Gamma are finished. Weapon systems are being installed now." Captain Santos nodded. Around her, the bridge hummed with quiet activity. Every person here had been born in space. They had never seen Earth. They had never met an alien. Their whole lives were dedicated to one thing, building humanity's secret fleet. The planet below them was called Forge 7. 50 years ago, it had been nothing but dead rock. Now it was humanity's most important construction site. Giant machines had eaten the planet from the inside out, leaving only a thin shell. Inside that shell, humans were building a warship so large it could hold 1,000,000 people. "Captain," said the communications officer, "we're getting a message from Admiral Chen on Earth." The hologram of Admiral Chen appeared in the center of the bridge. She looked older now. The stress of keeping humanity's biggest secret had aged her quickly. "Maria," Admiral Chen said, "how are things at Forge 7? "On schedule, Admiral," Captain Santos replied. "The Titan will be ready for testing in 6 months. But I have to ask, are we really going to use these ships?" Admiral Chen's face was serious. Yesterday, the Korthak Empire announced they're planning to relocate all humans to mining colonies. They want to turn our entire species into slaves. So yes, Maria, we're going to use them. The connection ended. Captain Santos looked back at the planet below. Inside Forge 7, the massive warship waited. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The main guns alone were bigger than most alien space stations. On another dead world called Ghost 12, engineer John Kim worked inside the hollow planet. Around him, thousands of other humans moved like ants, building weapons that could crack worlds in half. The work never stopped. Day and night the construction continued. "Kim," called his supervisor, "the new plasma cannons are ready for installation." John looked at the weapons being moved into place. Each cannon was the size of a building. When fired together, they could destroy an entire alien fleet in seconds. But the aliens had no idea these weapons existed. "How many ships are we building total?" John asked. 100 Titan-class warships, his supervisor said. Each one bigger than any space station in the galaxy. Each one carrying enough firepower to level a planet. John wiped the sweat from his face. His grandfather had lived on Earth when the aliens first arrived. His grandfather had told him stories about how the aliens laughed at humans, how they treated humans like pets or insects. "They won't be laughing much longer," John said. Meanwhile, on Earth, the humans continued their act. They pretended to be weak. They begged for better trade deals. They said, "Thank you," when aliens gave them scraps. Dr. Sarah Chen, who was really Admiral Sarah Chen, met with Commander Vex again. This time she asked for permission to build more mining ships. "We need resources for our colonies," she said politely. "Just small mining vessels. Nothing dangerous," Commander Vex laughed. "More junk ships?" "Fine, build whatever you want." "Your technology is so primitive it doesn't matter." "Thank you, Commander. You are very kind." After the meeting, Admiral Chen returned to her secret command center deep under the Earth's surface. The walls were covered with screens showing all 100 construction sites. Each site was building a different part of humanity's secret fleet. "Admiral," said her aide, "we have a problem. An alien patrol ship is getting too close to Forge 23. Admiral Chen looked at the screen. A small alien scout ship was drifting toward one of their construction sites. If the aliens discovered what humans were really building, everything would be ruined. "Send the Ghost Protocol signal," she ordered. Far away at Forge 23, Captain Robert Chen received the message. He was Admiral Chen's son, though no alien knew this. His job was to protect the construction sites from discovery. "All ships implement Ghost Protocol," he said quietly. The human ships around Forge 23 began to move. They used technology the aliens had never seen before. cloaking systems that could hide entire fleets, jamming equipment that could confuse alien sensors. Lieutenant Cax of the alien patrol ship looked at his readings in confusion. "Strange," he said. "I thought I detected something here, but now there's nothing." "Just empty space," said his captain. "Let's move on." The alien ship drifted away, never knowing that they had just missed seeing humanity's biggest secret. Back at Forge 23, the workers came out of hiding. They returned to their jobs, building weapons that would change the galaxy forever. In his private quarters, Captain Robert Chen called his mother on Earth. "The aliens almost found us today," he said. "But they didn't," Admiral Chen replied. "That's all that matters. How much longer do you need?" "2 more years, Mother. 2 more years and the fleet will be complete." Admiral Chen nodded. "The aliens are getting more aggressive. Yesterday, they took 3 more human colonies. They're treating our people like property." "Soon they'll learn the truth," Robert said. "Humans aren't weak. We just learned to be very quiet while we got strong." Across the galaxy, on 99 other hidden construction sites, the same scene played out. Humans worked in secret, building the most powerful fleet the universe had ever seen. Shipbuilders who had never seen the sun. Engineers who spoke only in whispers. Children who grew up thinking that building massive weapons was normal life. They all shared the same dream. The day when humanity would reveal itself to the galaxy. The day when the aliens would learn that their victims had become their masters. And that day was coming soon. In the depths of space, the final pieces of humanity's secret were falling into place. 100 warships, each one a death sentence for any alien fleet. Weapons that could shatter planets. Technology that was centuries ahead of anything the aliens possessed. The galaxy slept peacefully, still thinking humans were weak and helpless. Soon they would wake up to a very different universe. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with laughter. 50 alien leaders from across the galaxy sat around the massive table, making jokes about humans. Outside the giant windows, the capital world of Zerion Prime sparkled under 3 suns. "I propose we reduce human food rations by another 20%, said Emperor Thrak of the Korthak Empire. His massive frame shook with laughter. "They're getting too comfortable." Commander Vex nodded eagerly. "Excellent idea, Your Majesty. The humans are becoming lazy. Yesterday, they actually asked for medicine for their sick children." The room exploded with cruel laughter. These were the most powerful beings in the galaxy. They controlled 1,000,000 worlds. They had ruled for thousands of years, and they thought humans were nothing more than amusing pets. "Medicine for human children," laughed General Zek of the Xeric Federation. "What's next?" "They'll want schools for their young. Or maybe they'll ask for their own ships," said Chancellor Morg, wiping tears from his 6 eyes. "Can you imagine? Humans with real warships?" The laughter grew louder. None of them noticed the shadows falling across the windows. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UHS Retribution, the first and largest of humanity's secret fleet. Around her, 100 massive warships hung in perfect formation above Zerion Prime. Each ship was the size of a small moon. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. "Admiral," said Captain Santos, "all ships report ready. The Galactic Council is in session." "Good," Admiral Chen said quietly. "It's time they learned the truth about humanity." She looked out at the alien capital world below. For 200 years, humans had bowed to these creatures. They had begged for scraps. They had watched their children starve while aliens lived in luxury. Today that ended. "All ships," Admiral Chen said into her communicator, "assume bombardment positions. But remember, we're not here to destroy. We're here to teach." In the council chamber, the laughter suddenly stopped. The room grew dark as massive shadows blocked out all 3 suns. Chancellor Morg looked up at the windows, his face turning pale. What is that?" he whispered. Through the windows they could see ships. Massive, impossible ships that stretched across the sky like metal continents. The smallest ship was larger than the Council's entire space station. Emperor Thrak stood up slowly, his 4 legs shaking. Those can't be real." Commander Vex stared at his scanner, not believing what he saw. "The readings. These ships are massive. The largest one is, by the gods, it's the size of our capital city." The main screen in the council chamber flickered to life. The face that appeared shocked every alien in the room. It was Dr. Sarah Chen, the small, weak human ambassador they had laughed at for years. But she looked different now. She wore a military uniform covered in medals. Her eyes were hard as steel. "Greetings, Galactic Council," she said. Her voice was calm, but it carried the weight of 1,000,000 human lives. "I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Human Fleet. Not Dr. Chen, not Ambassador Chen, Admiral Chen." The room was silent. 50 alien leaders stared at the screen in complete shock. "For 200 years, you have treated humanity as your servants," Admiral Chen continued. "You have stolen our resources. You have enslaved our people. You have laughed at our suffering." Emperor Thrak found his voice. This is impossible. Humans are weak. Your technology is primitive." "You're right," Admiral Chen said with a cold smile. "Human technology was primitive 200 years ago, but while you were busy feeling superior, we were learning. We were building. We were preparing." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Every mining ship you thought was gathering rocks for you was actually building these warships. Every trade deal you forced on us gave us the materials we needed. Every time you laughed at us, we used that time to become stronger." Commander Vex's voice shook. What do you want?" "I want you to understand something very important," Admiral Chen said. "The human race you thought you knew never existed. We were never weak. We were never helpless. We were planning." In the space above Zerion Prime, the human fleet moved into a perfect sphere formation around the planet. Each ship's weapons powered up with a sound like thunder. General Zek jumped to his feet. "This is a trick. Humans could never build ships like these. Would you like a demonstration?" Admiral Chen asked. She turned to someone off-screen. "Captain Rodriguez, please show our friends what the Aurora can do." In space, one of the smaller human ships, though still massive by alien standards, targeted an empty asteroid field near the planet. A single beam of white light shot out from the ship. When the light faded, the asteroids were gone. Not destroyed, gone, turned to dust. The council chamber was dead silent. "That was our smallest weapon," Admiral Chen said casually. "On our smallest ship, we have 99 more ships, each with bigger guns." Chancellor Morg collapsed back into his chair. "Impossible," he whispered. "We monitored human space. We watched your ships. You couldn't have built this fleet without us knowing." "You watched the ships we wanted you to see," Admiral Chen replied. "You monitored the space we wanted you to monitor. For 200 years, you saw exactly what we wanted you to see. Nothing more." Emperor Thrak's face was red with anger and fear. "What do you want from us?" "Nothing you can't afford to give," Admiral Chen said. "We want fair treatment for all species. We want an end to slavery. We want respect, and we want you to remember that the human race is not to be underestimated." "And if we refuse?" General Zek asked, though his voice was barely a whisper. Admiral Chen's smile disappeared. "Then you'll learn why we spent 200 years building ships that can crack planets in half." On his private ship, orbiting a nearby moon, Captain Vex watched the human fleet with terror. The ship he commanded, once the pride of the alien navy, looked like a toy next to the smallest human vessel. "Sir," said his communications officer, "the Korthak Empire is mobilizing their fleet. They're planning to attack the humans." Vex stared at the human ships, each one bristling with weapons beyond his comprehension. "They're going to attack those monsters," he said. "Emperor Thrak has lost his mind." But even as he watched, he saw Korthak warships jumping into the system. Hundreds of them. Maybe they had a chance. Maybe their numbers would be enough. He was about to learn how wrong he was. The galaxy had awakened to find that its weakest species had become its strongest. The humans they had kicked around for centuries were now floating above their capital world with enough firepower to end civilizations. And this was only the beginning. Part 4. The New Rules Emperor, Thrak stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Destroyer of Worlds. Around him, the largest fleet in galactic history prepared for battle. 5,000 Korthak warships stretched across space like a metal ocean. Each ship carried weapons that had conquered 100 worlds. "Admiral," Thrak said to his fleet commander, "how many human ships are we facing?" 100, Your Majesty," Admiral Korks replied. "But sir, their ships are unusually large." "Size means nothing," Thrak snarled. "We have 50 ships for every one of theirs. Numbers always win." He was about to learn how wrong he was. Above Zerion Prime, Admiral Sarah Chen watched the Korthak fleet approaching. Her tactical officer counted the enemy ships with growing amazement. "Admiral, they're bringing everything. 5,000 ships, including their heaviest battlecruisers." "Good," Admiral Chen said calmly. "Let them bring their entire navy. It will make the lesson more clear." She opened a communication channel to the Korthak fleet. "Emperor Thrak," she said, "you still have time to surrender. Your ships are no match for ours." Thrak's ugly face appeared on her screen, twisted with rage. "Surrender to humans? I would rather die than bow to weaklings like you." "That can be arranged," Admiral Chen replied. "But first, let me show you something." She nodded to her weapons officer. In space, every human ship powered up their main guns at the same time. The energy signatures were so massive that they lit up the darkness like 100 small suns. On the Korthak flagship, every alarm started screaming. "Sir!" shouted the tactical officer. "The energy readings from those ships, they're impossible. Each human ship has more firepower than our entire fleet." Emperor Thrak's 4 eyes widened in shock, but his pride was stronger than his fear. "Fire everything. Kill them all." The Korthak fleet opened fire. 5,000 ships launched every weapon they had. Plasma cannons, particle beams, nuclear missiles, everything flew toward the human ships in a massive wave of destruction. Admiral Chen watched the attack coming without concern. "Shields up. Return fire." The alien weapons hit the human shields and simply vanished. The advanced human defensive systems absorbed the attack like it was nothing. Not a single human ship was even scratched. Then the human ships fired back. What happened next would be remembered across the galaxy for 1,000 years. 100 human ships fired at the same time. The beams of energy that shot out were wider than most space stations. They moved faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. Emperor Thrak watched in horror as his mighty fleet simply disappeared. Ships that had taken years to build were destroyed in seconds. His finest warships, commanded by his best officers, turned to dust and metal fragments. In less than 5 minutes, the entire Korthak fleet was gone. 5,000 ships, 2 million warriors, the pride of the Korthak Empire, all destroyed by 100 human vessels that had barely used 10% of their power. "Impossible," Thrak whispered, staring at empty space where his fleet had been. "This cannot be happening." Admiral Chen's voice came through his speakers. "Emperor Thrak, you now have 2 choices. Surrender your empire to human authority, or watch us destroy every Korthak world one by one." Thrak's legs gave out. He fell to his knees on his own bridge, broken by what he had witnessed. His proud empire, built over 1,000 years, was helpless against humanity's secret fleet. I surrender," he said, his voice barely a whisper. Across the galaxy, other alien leaders watched the battle through long-range sensors. The Xeric Federation immediately sent surrender messages. The Crystalline Collective offered to become human allies. Even the mighty Vortan Empire, rulers of 10,000 worlds, agreed to negotiate. Within hours, Admiral Chen was broadcasting to every inhabited world in the galaxy. "Citizens of the galaxy," she began, "today marks the beginning of a new age. For too long the strong have bullied the weak. The rich have stolen from the poor. Entire species have been enslaved while others lived in luxury." Her image appeared on billions of screens across thousands of worlds. Humans, aliens, and every other species listened to her words. "The Galactic Council is dissolved," she continued. "In its place, humanity offers something new. Fair trade for all species, protection for the weak, justice for everyone, regardless of what planet they come from." On Earth, humans watched their admiral with tears in their eyes. For 2 centuries they had suffered in silence. Now their children would grow up free. "But freedom comes with rules," Admiral Chen said, her voice becoming harder. "No more slavery. No more stealing from weaker species. No more wars of conquest. Any species that breaks these rules will face the human fleet." On the former slave worlds, billions of creatures looked up at the sky with hope for the first time in their lives. The Korthak had enslaved them for generations. The Xerac had worked them to death in mines. Now someone was finally strong enough to protect them. But not everyone was happy with the new rules. In the deep reaches of space, War Master Skarl of the Vortan Empire met with other military leaders who refused to accept human authority. "This is madness," Skarl said, his tentacles writhing with anger. "We bow to no one. The Vorthan Empire has ruled for 10,000 years. The humans destroyed 5,000 Korthak ships in minutes, said General Hex of the Acid Storm's fleet. What chance do we have? We don't fight them directly, Skal replied. We hit their weak spots, their colonies, their trade ships. We make them spread their fleet thin, then we strike. It was a plan born of desperation and pride, and it was about to teach the galaxy why humans had spent so much time building so many ships. Admiral Chen received the intelligence reports in her private quarters. The remaining rebel forces were planning guerrilla attacks on human colonies. How many ships should we send to protect our people? Asked Captain Santos. Admiral Chen looked at the star map showing rebel fleet positions. 30 different groups scattered across the galaxy, each one planning attacks on human civilians. All of them, she said simply. Ma'am, send all 100 ships. Every rebel fleet will face the full power of humanity. We're not going to chase them around the galaxy for years. We're going to end this rebellion in one day. Captain Santos stared at her. Admiral, that's massive overkill. Some of these rebel groups only have 10 or 20 ships. Good, Admiral Chen replied. I want every species in the galaxy to understand something very clearly. When humans make rules, we enforce them, completely. The next morning, rebel forces across the galaxy woke up to find human warships in their systems. Not 1 or 2 ships, the entire human fleet. War Master Skal found himself facing 20 human vessels, each one larger than his entire base. His last transmission was simple. We surrender. Please don't destroy us. By noon, every rebel group had surrendered. By evening, the galaxy was at peace for the first time in centuries. Admiral Chen stood on her bridge looking out at the stars. Her communications officer approached with a report. Admiral, we're receiving surrender messages from over 300 species. They're all asking to join the new galactic government under human leadership. And what about the species that were enslaved? They're sending thank you messages, ma'am. Billions of them. They're calling us their saviors. Admiral Chen nodded. The galaxy was safe now. The strong could no longer prey on the weak. Children of every species could grow up without fear. But she knew this was just the beginning. Keeping the peace would be harder than winning the war. Send a message to all human colonies, she said. It's time to come home. The galaxy knows who we really are now. Across the stars, human families who had lived in secret for generations finally stepped into the light. The galaxy's greatest secret had become its new reality. Humanity had spent 200 years pretending to be weak while building the strongest fleet in galactic history. Now they would spend the next 1,000 years proving that strength and justice could exist together. The age of bullies was over. The age of humanity had begun.